All right, I think the biggest defense for any corrupt leader or callous leader begins with Miss Keller in 2000 and it's not Miss Keller, but it starts with Miss Keller 2004 in her book where it states authority, power, and influence become the stone to a good or even a bad leader. However, the followers are just as important as the context of what the leader contains. Now, moving forward from that, thinking about it in a corporate and business level of leadership style, if you look at the concept of leadership, you can see that it talks about the reflection of culture. Within a business structure itself, you obtain or you start to mimic or model either A, your outside, or B, your inside leadership style based on a reflection of that culture that gets carried on to each individual. And it goes on to say that cultural influences the characteristics of the climate by its effect on the action through the process of the leader. With that being said, it's enough to defend any negative, bad leader. Okay, so now let me move on into my discussion. All right. First off, leaders are not born. Leaders have a desire and a willpower to become a leader. Good and bad leaders depends on followers. Companies make that decision through the hiring and firing process. This places companies in a position to be victimized by leaders within the company world from the corporate ladder due to the demand needs that contribute to a company's success. A good leader knows who they are, what they can do, and what they can do in order to really be successful in the business world. A good leader knows how to self-sow. In addition to maximizing wealth or shareholders' wealth, a leader's position must be able to minimize the amount of resources to gain a maximum amount of profits. In order for a leader to maximize profits, a leader must be able to influence their environment with their power by accomplishing objectives and direct organization in a cohesive and coherent manner. It is without doubt that Kenneth Lay has these characteristic traits. That is without any doubt why Enron hired Mr. Kenneth Lay as the CEO and chairman of the company. Kenneth Lay was born in 1942 and died on January 5th of 2006. He is an American businessman. He is best known for the Enron scandal. In 2001, Enron filed bankruptcy. 20,000 employees lost their job, lost their life savings, and investors lost billions of dollars. January 30th, 2006, Kenneth Lay was charged with a 65-page document of 11 counts of fraud, making false and misleading statements. Mr. Kenneth Lay's wealth was 95% from Enron itself. Mr. Kenneth Lay claimed that the collapse of the company's failure was due to conspiracy and the media. May 25th, 2006, he was found guilty. He was being sentenced on September 11th, 2006. They changed the date to October 23rd, 2006. Enron collapsed due to moral failure. However, 2003, Johnson claimed in article Enron's Ethical Collapse, Lessons for Leadership Educators. The key values of the company Enron are respect, integrity, communications, and excellence. Furthermore, Enron's moral failure was due to abuse of power, privileges, manipulation of information due to own self-interest. Kenneth Lay was the CEO and chairman. The question is, was the failure related to the company or to Mr. Kenneth? As I dig deeper, conspiracy can be challenged. Enron had a hierarchical system. The top executives controlled the functionality and operations of the company. They contribute to political, economic, and social contributions to aid growth in the Democrat and Republican Party of the House and Senate. Two economic corporations, the Security Exchange Commission and the Federal Energy Regulation Commission. Their role was major. However, on the other side, Mr. Kenneth Lay had a best friend who was, or a real good friend, Mr. Bush, who was going to elect him Secretary of the United States before he was charged. Enron faced executive power constraints and limits of resources due to failed investments and fraudulent illegal activity within the inside of the company. Enron was unable to back guarantees. Loans could not be repaid. Avoidance of tax began to be implemented. Long-term projects were unfinished. Switching and manipulating information of balance sheets, resulting in a false image of the company. Emergency crisis began to rise. According to Mr. Johnson in 2003, he writes, average workers were forced to base their retirement plan in Iran, invest their retirement plans in Iran stock, and then during the critical period when the stocks was in a free fall, were blocked from selling their shares. Top executives, on the other hand, were able to unload their shares as they wished. 500 officials received retention bonus totaling $55 million. At the same time, laid off workers received only a fraction of severance pay they had been promised. This is on page 47. Okay, this is on page 47. Okay, so that is the company Enron. Now looking at Keith Lay, he is a ruthless and countless individual. He was known to sit in the objector's seat, and anyone who challenged him was removed from power. He eliminated his rivals and competitors this way. However, Enron's board members failed to exercise their power, proper oversight power to challenge his management styles. Excuse me, Kenneth Lay. That's a key. My camera keeps glitching on me, and so I'm apologizing to my classmates and my instructor. I'm not sure what's going on with my system, but this is multiple attempts at recording this. So I'm going to continue. There's a little bit of glitches coming in now, so just hang back. I'm just about there. An ethical yet practical good leadership was it correct? That is something that has to be evaluated more deeply. But it says by Johnson in 2003, he writes, the unethical behavior in minds leaders appears to be the product of both individual and situational factors. Greed was the primary motivator of both managers and their employees at Iron. So the question is, was he a good leader? Was he a bad leader? Was it a company that pushed him into a corner? Those questions are still conflicting questions that are really unresolved. Even though he was found guilty, it can be seen the other way. And I'm not going to hit pause because my camera keeps having issues. So I believe that is it. So it says also that Enron's culture was made of creativity and risk taking. So that was a high environmental culturally with the company, which meant it was a good breeding ground for defiant type behaviors to allow manifestation of corruption and broken callous behaviors that would influence other employees to construct values and morals within our own company itself, which can be very dangerous, not only for employees, but even for leaders. Um, so, where was the coercion at? Was the coercion need versus the want? Or was it the survival of the company that created wants versus needs? Okay, that's it for this discussion. If you have any questions or corrections or validation or want to support, just jot down in the discussion post, and so we can continue. It's a great learning lesson feedback. I'm able to grow with me and understanding, or even to make some adjustments, because it challenges my decision and my critical thinking skills. I will also post my references so that if you guys are interested in seeing where I pull that information to support and then validate my reasoning and logic to defending Mr. Johnson and the company, you, Mr. Johnson, excuse me, can some of it because who do I personally suspect he died of a heart attack, looking at time, measurable time. I would not go against him claiming conspiracy. Thank you, and have a great day.